The second we stepped into our new house, I could tell trouble was waiting for us. And that trouble had a name, Karen. She acted like the crown ruler of the Homeowners Association, marching around the neighborhood with a clipboard in hand and a permanent glare etched across her face. Our very first clash was over something ridiculous: the color of our welcome mat. According to her, forest green blatantly violated the community's approved earth tone palette. After that, things only spiraled. She'd taped passive-aggressive notes to our door about our grass being a quarter-inch too tall, or complained that our mailbox was from an unapproved manufacturer. My wife, Amelia, and I tried to handle it calmly. We would smile politely, nod, and adjust whatever tiny issue she claimed to see. Amelia is extremely meticulous by nature. Her career as a judge has made her patient, analytical, and precise. She actually read the entire HOA covenant from beginning to end and would gently point out that our welcome mat fully complied with every written rule. Karen would snort in frustration and stomp away, only to invent an even more absurd violation the following day. It began to feel personal. She seemed irritated that we were younger, that we minded our own business, and that we refused to submit to her petty reign. The breaking point came during Christmas. We put up modest, tasteful white lights along our roofline. 2 days later, a violation notice was taped to our front door, claiming our lights were excessively bright and disruptive to nocturnal peace of the neighborhood squirrels. That was the exact phrase used. Along with it came a $200 fine. We refused to pay. Instead, we mailed a formal letter referencing the bylaws, which only restricted the hours lights could be displayed, not their brightness. That's when Karen escalated things dramatically. A week later, we received another letter, this time sent through certified mail. It wasn't just a warning. It was an eviction notice. My stomach dropped. Evicted over Christmas lights? I read through the document with trembling hands. It was packed with legal jargon, listing a string of fabricated violations ranging from unauthorized landscaping changes to creating a public nuisance. It claimed we had ignored countless warnings and that the HOA board had unanimously voted to remove us from the community. Karen had signed herself. I was livid. Amelia, on the other hand, remained eerily composed. She took the paperwork from me and read every line slowly, her face giving nothing away. "These look official," I muttered anxiously. "Can she actually do this?" Amelia tapped the page thoughtfully. "Something's off," she said quietly. "The formatting on this court stamp is wrong, and this case number doesn't follow our county's standard numbering system." She spent the entire evening at her laptop, cross-checking court records and public filings. I paced the living room helplessly, my nerves on edge. The next morning, she looked up from her screen with a small, grim smile. "It's fake," she said, "completely forged." She copied an old legal template, altered the letterhead, and invented a case number. "There's no official filing. She's trying to intimidate us into leaving." Relief flooded through me, immediately replaced by searing anger. "We can't let this slide," I said. "This is criminal." Amelia nodded. "We won't, but we'll handle it properly." We hired an attorney and filed suit against Karen and the HOA for harassment and forgery. We documented every single note, every baseless accusation, every encounter. Our lawyer was confident, but Karen refused to back down. In her formal response, she insisted the eviction was legitimate and accused us of harassing her instead. She even filed a counterclaim, presenting so-called evidence of our violations, grainy photos of our trash bins sitting out an hour early, and signed affidavits from neighbors who later admitted they had no idea what they'd been signing. The legal fight stretched on for months. It drained our energy and our finances. Meanwhile, Karen would strut past our house with a smug grin, acting as if she had already defeated us. She intended to wear us down. Eventually, a trial date was scheduled. Our lawyer informed us that the case had been assigned to a recently transferred judge in the civil division. On the morning of the hearing, I was a bundle of nerves. I put on my best suit, feeling like I was the one on trial. Amelia, oddly enough, seemed calm and steady. She wore a simple navy blue suit, understated and professional. During the drive to the courthouse, she was quiet and reflective. "Are you nervous?" I asked. She simply squeezed my hand. "Justice will be served," she replied. We met our attorney outside the courtroom. Karen was already there with her lawyer, wearing a self-satisfied expression. When the bailiff called everyone inside, she shot us a venomous look. We entered and took our seats at the plaintiff's table, while Karen and her attorney sat opposite us. The room fell silent as the judge entered from a side door and approached the bench. "All rise for the Honorable Judge Amelia Collins," the bailiff announced. My jaw nearly hit the floor. I turned to look at my wife, but she wasn't beside me anymore. She was walking toward the bench, slipping off her jacket to reveal the black judicial robe underneath. She sat down, her expression composed and impartial. The entire courtroom was stunned into silence. Karen's face cycled rapidly from confusion to disbelief to dawning horror, and finally to outright panic. Her attorney looked shaken, fumbling through his notes. Our lawyer leaned toward me, whispering in shock, "You didn't mention your wife was the judge." I could only shake my head. I truly hadn't known she'd been assigned to this case. She had mentioned a transfer, but never specifics. Amelia surveyed the courtroom. For a fleeting second, her eyes met mine, and I glimpsed the woman I loved before she fully assumed her judicial demeanor. Then her gaze locked onto Karen. "Before proceeding," Amelia began, her voice firm and authoritative, "I must address a potential conflict of interest. The plaintiff, Mr. Miller, is my husband." A wave of murmurs spread through the room. Karen's attorney immediately jumped up. "Your Honor, we request recusal. This is a clear conflict of interest." Amelia raised her hand calmly. "I am fully aware of my ethical responsibilities," she said evenly. "However, considering the filings before this court, specifically the submission of falsified legal documents by the defendant, which constitute a felony, recusal would unnecessarily delay justice. Instead, I will refer this matter to the district attorney for a criminal investigation into perjury and forgery." She then turned her attention directly to Karen. "Miss Peterson, you submitted fraudulent documents to this court. You attempted to weaponize the legal system to intimidate a private citizen. You lied under oath. These actions are not simply an attack on my family. They are an assault on the integrity of the judicial system itself." Karen had gone pale, visibly shaking. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Amelia continued, unwavering. "The civil dispute is dismissed with prejudice. All counterclaims are dismissed. The plaintiffs are awarded full reimbursement of legal fees." She looked to the bailiff. "Escort Miss Peterson to a holding room. Representatives from the district attorney's office will be arriving shortly." As Karen was led away in tears, Amelia struck the gavel. "Court is adjourned." She gathered her documents and exited to the side door without another glance. I remained seated, stunned, a slow grin spreading across my face. That evening, Amelia returned home late, looking tired but at peace. I wrapped her in a hug. "You never told me," I said softly. She smiled. "Judicial assignments remain confidential until the trial date." I couldn't, but when I saw our case on my docket, I knew I had to uphold the law. After that day, the neighborhood changed dramatically. The HOA leadership was overhauled, and we never received another complaint about our welcome mat. And whenever I see Amelia wearing her robe, I'm reminded that sometimes the most powerful way to handle a Karen isn't to sink to her level, but to be the judge who ensures she answers for her actions. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.